And we are live. Welcome back, everybody. Hello, Jimmy, Puck, and the other person who is in here. Percy and Lucid Boar. Welcome, everybody. That's very good, Jimmy. We have 5 folks. Thanks for stopping by, Level Up. Have a good rest of your day and good luck on your projects. My day's been alright. Pretty slow. Yeah. Nothing notable. Besides Little Blue eating his dinner, of course. Alright, we have 6 folks and we're already a minute in, so don upon your Wicked Fish Wednesday safety goggles, guys, because things are about to get wicked. The GF is very well. We're going to see each other Friday, which is like basically tomorrow, because, you know, today is almost over. They're almost too small. Clearly they're not. So you guys know the drill. And for those who don't, just feel free to ask anything about any fish. A smooch, well, we call them smooshes as a joke because my autocorrect keeps changing it to that. But yes, of course. Anyway, for Wicked Fish Wednesdays while I'm in school, I think we're just going to do it like any fish, including prehistoric and mythical. So it gives people more opportunity to ask questions. Pardon me. Should have covered before that. Cthulhu. I suppose we can. I'm not extremely well versed in the Cthulhu mythos. However, I am a Lovecraft fan. What I do know is Cthulhu is actually one of the smaller eldritch beings that come from Lovecraft's lore. However, he is one of the most popular due to the statue that was found in Lovecraft's study. And so, yeah, Cthulhu is said to be found in the subaquatic realm of R'lyeh, which is basically somewhat like a cursed Atlantis type thing. I'm not extremely well versed in it, like I said, but that is what I do know. He is a massive, or it is a massive eldritch being with the head of the octopus, mighty wings, and cosmic powers. However, Cthulhu is actually somewhat more of a demigod compared to the larger ones. However, he is still quite powerful. Lynetta? I do not think I do. While I'm waiting for some more questions to filter in, I'm actually going to put on a Bandaid. My finger's quite sore from my big, so Welcome, Uncle Murphy. Glad you can make it. And I would love to, Puck. Always good to look up some cool things. Sorry for the Bandaid Break, guys, but I don't know why it really started hurting after I started streaming. Okay, so ammonites. I will talk to you about those after I put on one more band. I forgot to wrap my finger tonight, so it takes longer to do this. Mythical or fossil fish worth bringing back. Of course, I would bring back the mosasaurus, even though that is quite a dangerous reptile. However, I think that they are very cool. They are my favorite prehistoric creature, next to the Dilophosaurus. But that is not an ocean one, or a marine one. Anyway, as for a mythical one, I think something like the Kraken would be cool, because of sheer size, and also a giant octopus sounds cool to me. I don't know. I don't think about sirens. You think that those fish are capable of eating spaghetti? The ones that I just listed? I would imagine so, due to how large they are. I'm a huge fan of spaghetti. I actually had spaghetti for dinner tonight. And as for ammonites, they're one of the first mollusks from the gastropods. They are very closely related to the chambered nautilus. However, ammonites were a less developed version of that because, of course, early in evolution, they are one of the first ones, which means that they have shells, and their shells were significantly more defined, where it wasn't more like chitin like it is for the nautilus. It was a defined shell that the cephalopod or gastropod would come out of a bit. So, interesting fact. Gastropods have evolved to lose that shell and have more free-ranging bodies like octopus, squids, so on and so forth. I believe you've asked that question before, and I'm pretty sure the answer is yes to an extent, but they have to be somewhat closely related in the family system. Well, not exactly. You can't mate a mammal and a fish, because sharks are fish. They are from I think it's like the Cetnoid family. Regardless, they have to be somewhat closely related. Two closely related sharks can crossbreed, possibly. Same thing with, like, let's say, different types of spadefish. Yeah, they basically just have to have the same anatomical properties. So that things can actually develop properly, So if things get too different from each other, it won't produce something that can sustain itself. Goblin shark and a thresher shark. It's hard to say. I don't think that those two could actually crossbreed, as goblin shark has not evolved very much at all throughout its 200 million years of being alive. Or it's 200,000. Regardless, it has been alive for a very long time. So possibly it could look like a goblin with a long tail, or because threshers, they have very compact snouts and jaws, where goblins, their jaws are extendable for catching fish, and they also have that very long snout. And they are moved for very slow. They are built for very slow movement, where threshers are built for very fast and jerky movements. Very different behaviors and anatomy. So it's hard to say what one could look like because they're not really closely related enough to actually make something or make something new. Yeah, it is kind of like that website where you can fuse Pokemon together, except in a more real life scenario. I would not try to, because goblin sharks rely on that deep environment, but maybe we can like collect DNA from both of them without actually having to try to put them in a breeding environment. Because they also rely on very different environments. So even if something that could survive did come out, it might not be accustomed to a certain environment. A new super shark, huh? Well, it's the same thing with how fish are able to live in cold environments that we can't go into. Their body is made for it, like our body is made for these sort of temperatures. Our body is made to use our environment to make our bodies warmer or colder. Their bodies are just automatically built with those systems because fish, they, well, like I said, they have those systems that keep their body in certain temperatures. Because I'm pretty sure fish are cold-blooded. Yes, fish are cold-blooded. Silly of me to say. But my point is, since fish are cold-blooded, their bodies don't have an automatically extremely high body temperature. It's kind of hard to explain like the anatomical differences, but since fish are cold-blooded, much like reptiles and amphibians, they are able to withstand hotter environments as their natural body temperature is already low. So the outside temperature will only bring it up so much. We'll take one or two more questions and then we'll wrap up tonight's stream. I think we had a productive stream. Welcome back, Lucid Boar. I hope you had a successful phone call. People's underwater combat capital. I knew this would happen. It's only a matter of time. Very well done. No, as far as we know, nothing can swim in lava because lava is actually more of a solid than a liquid. Um, you can skip stones off of lava. No, I don't think anything can swim in lava. Fire resistance potion. Maybe. Well, as far as I know, lava melts bone anyway, or burns it, kind of disintegrates it. Well, there are some fish that had bone armor, kind of like the Dunkleosteus, but that was more for hunting, and it did not cover the entirety of its body. It just kind of covered the um, front side fins and up towards the head. Yeah, as far as we know, all organic matter kind of bends to that intense temperature, but who knows? Um, the mass extinction. The mass extinction kind of wiped out all of those species that relied on those bone protrusions for hunting or armor. Um, so it simply did not become a evolutionary factor anymore, as those larger species did not exist. So predators were not as evolved anymore. So fish did not need to evolve to have that, since there was not as much territory disputes going on. Who knows, maybe it'll come back into existence. That happens every once in a while. An animal will evolve itself back into the world, but who knows? Um, between the region that they were in and what depth they lived at, like the goblin shark, that's why it survived. Um, but yeah, and also size. Like that's how a lot of the animals that we have today evolved to survive. Um, Smaller animals survived, and the larger ones did not because there were not places, because it wiped out everything on the surface. But animals that relied on dens or burrows or cavernous regions, they could survive. And same thing with fish that relied on like their little burrows or deep waters that did not rely on surface or algae or coral. They didn't need that, you know. So they were not affected as much by the mass extinction or the ash and soot covering the surface. That is hard to say. Probably not as many, but possibly. It's really hard to say because a lot of the extinct species were on a very large scale, as we know. We do have some large animals that are alive today, but I think there are a good amount of animals that would still be able to survive. That is true. All right, we hit the 21-minute mark. I think we're going to wrap up tonight's stream. So, that is also true, Lucid Boar. It's kind of crazy how civilizations and evolution kind of works like that. Who knows, Puck? Probably not, though, due to the brain size that we estimate. So anyway, everybody else have a good rest of your night. Hope everybody enjoys their evening. Feel free to leave suggestions anytime. Like always, have a good rest of your night. See you guys later. And Puck has something to say before we go. As you wish, Puck. Listen to Bones in the Ocean. It's a sea shanty. So good night, everybody. Like always, stay safe. Good night, fishy friends.